You found it, ladies and gentlemen. The front lines in the info war. We wage war on corruption. We crash with the lies and disinformation. We are shattering the left-right paradigm that is the global corporate takeover, known as the New World Order. And we are now going to open the phones up for the balance of the broadcast with some key news interspersed. I know callers will probably call in on 1,000 subjects, and that's fine. I love the random wheel of fortune, different issues being brought up. But I'd like to hear from you. What do you think of the U.S. media, the lying corporate whore media, telling you that a couple thousand people demonstrated in D.C. and hardly giving it any coverage, and then spinning it and saying, and of the couple thousand that did demonstrate, some of them were Obama supporters and want the health care, and the others were these crazy racist Tea Party people. You're not allowed to say socialism, it's racism. Trying to silence free speech. What do you think of the New York Times headline, carried in papers all over the country, thousands rally with or against Obama? As president leads a health care rally in Minneapolis, protesters in Washington denounce his policies. Meanwhile, the foreign press is reporting 2 million. And you look at the video, easily 2 million. Let's go ahead and go to your phone calls. Steve in Houston, you're on the air, Steve.
Yeah, good afternoon, Alex. I want to comment on what you're asking about, and I want to use that to lead into about this past Friday with 9/11. It's pretty obvious to me why the U.S. media is reporting this way. They're controlled by the same people, as you pointed out, that invented TV, and that's the Pentagon. You got the black propaganda machine. They always put their spin on everything, and they're going to make it go towards what the New World Order's agenda is.
And by black propaganda, people are so programmed to political correctness to not be able to speak. In England, they're banning, saying it's a black day, it's a dark day, everything's racism. When you say black propaganda, you mean black ops or deceptive political information. That's the dictionary definition of it. You mean black ops disinfo.
Yeah, I used that term because I heard on your show a couple weeks ago where you pointed out it's not just propaganda. You have two kinds. You put out what's called white propaganda, which is the good kind. It's information to inform people and empower them.
Yes, here's the definition for those that don't know. People think of propaganda itself as bad. Propaganda, if I say, hey, I got great hamburgers and great enchiladas and great root beer floats I sell at my diner, and I think they're great hamburgers and enchiladas, then it's propaganda, but it's white propaganda. If I happen to like some type of tennis racket and I say, I think this is a great tennis racket, or I think my car is great, that's white propaganda if I believe it's true, and it is true. It's black propaganda if you lie. It's black propaganda when the media says it's racist to disagree with the president. They know that's a lie. They're putting it out there to silence debate. Go ahead.
Right, exactly. And this leads into the main reason I called, about 9/11 this past Friday. Throughout the days I was able to, I listened to various talk shows, both local and nationally. And, of course, you had all these neocons, these fake conservatives out there all talking about how, we need to continue this war on terror, defend our country, blah, blah, blah. And I called into a couple of them, and I heard other people calling as well, saying that 9/11 was an inside job. And the first guy I called, I said to him, can I have a conversation with you about 9/11 that disagrees with the general, spin that's been put out there without being labeled a conspiracy theorist or a nut job? He said, okay. And I said, I have several points I'd like to go through and then ask you some questions. Okay, can we take these one at a time? I said, sure. I didn't even get to my first point, and he started asking me, well, do you believe planes hit the towers? Sure. Well, do you believe that terrorists, these Muslim fundamentalists slit people's throats with box cutters? I said, no. Okay, well, have a nice day. And, I was so infuriated, Alex, because the thing is, and it doesn't surprise me because that's the way these media whores are, but it's just the thing that, these people say they're fair and balanced, like Fox says, but yet, just like, and this is the main thing with Charlie Sheen, what he's done, this guy has so much guts and fortitude and has done such a service to the American people in the world as well as you. But he's his point that here I put all these valid points out with all the all the links to the documentation, and rather than even address those, all they want to do is engage in character.
I hear you. I appreciate your call. We're going to cover that next hour. But what Charlie Sheen has done is tens of millions of people have read his letter to the president that has the 20 points. Major British newspapers like the Telegraph, their biggest paper, next to the Guardian, printed the entire 20 points in the newspaper. I'm going to go to that story later. And people are going, wow, this has links to the Washington Post in 2007 with 6 of the 10 commission members admitting there was a cover-up and that they wanted a criminal investigation of the Pentagon and White House. Wow, this has links to FBI translators saying that al-Qaeda was taking orders from the CIA up until the day of 9/11. Wow. And just these 20 points that are irrefutable. Why we're saying investigate 9/11. I mean, the government staged Gulf of Tonkin to get us into Vietnam, attacked our ships, and made it up that the Vietnamese did. They've staged all these other attacks. Northwoods is in ABC News. U.S. government plan to bomb cities, hijack jets by remote control. I mean, you start going through the evidence, but they never want to address that. That's coming up. I want to get to everybody else's call, though. Mike in Florida, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. How you doing today?
Good.
One of the things about the health care that I'm really so afraid of is that things that have happened in the last couple of months. I mean, Verichip has partnered with receptors to develop capabilities in their chip to detect swine flu.
Yeah, no, for those that don't know, Verichip, there is a section in the bill, we've gone over it, that talks about the feds funding radio frequency ID chips implanted in people. And the Mexican government's made the Justice Department people take them. Other governments are having people take them. They really are pushing this to the school kids, to the U.S. military. It really is happening.
And then just recently on September 8th, Verichip acquired Steel Vault, which is an ID theft company. And now the new company will be called Positive ID. That was just announced on September 8th. So, I mean, what I'm afraid of, Alex, is, they're going to use through the Obamacare force us to get chipped.
Well, I don't think they're that far along now, but I appreciate your call. They're using the fear and the fear-mongering over this hysteria over the swine flu. When regular flu kills 36,000 plus people a year, this has only killed a few thousand in the U.S. It's not even up to that yet. It's not even up to 1,000 yet. It's like 4,000 worldwide, 500 and something a week ago. The numbers are always growing. But you can pull up flu deaths if you want to see the numbers. Just Google it or startpage.com, another good search engine. And they're just using it to put their federal forces in place, to put their police state in place, to train everybody to go under federal control, to get everybody used to hearing about forced inoculations and quarantines and mass graves and lockdowns of cities and federalization of local police. That's what's going on right now. We're going to go to break in a moment. We're going to come back and hurry through your calls to Mike, Revo, Mark, Bob, Tommy, Andrew, and others. Toll-free number to join us, 888-201-2244. Each caller, I'd love to hear from all of you, but I want to get to everybody. You get about 1 minute apiece. I'm going to try to have a short answer or short statement to whatever it is you say. Does it outrage you that the mainstream media is saying a couple thousand people are in D.C. when foreign media is saying 2 million and the raw video shows probably more than 2 million? Is this why the mainstream media is dying? Is this why they have no credibility?